Hello, I'm Guy Woodford, and I'd like to bring you answers to some of the key questions addressed in the Third World Highways Roundtable on connected construction. We hear increasingly about BIM being used on large projects. To what extent can BIM be extended to smaller projects? Over what timescale? And to what possible benefits?
I think first of all we talk about BIM, and BIM has been talked about for quite a while, right? It's actually not a new term, it's almost an old buzzword. We can talk about it, BIM or SIM or whatever we put on it. Today you already have the possibility for smaller customers to get almost that kind of ecosystem already. I think the larger the companies get, the more sort of complex their ecosystem becomes. So the smaller one is, I think, quite easy, and I'm saying easy with maybe not the ease that it is, because it's always a change when you bring in new technology. But you have solutions today from all of us here on this call, and you also have it on, I think, other third party that can bring you to a level which is very close to BIM sort of solution. Yes, all of the field units have solutions that will then communicate and talk and have the right model and the same model and so on, yes, but there's not the complete step towards BIM for them. But maybe that's the one they need to take, because you cannot take the biggest step. It's not the easiest thing to do. So I recommend many of them to start in a smaller ecosystem and then build in the complexity that different customers have as they go, next steps.
And Murray, in terms of this being extended to smaller projects, is this something that the sort of small to mid-sized customers are asking for? If so, what are some of the challenges faced with them using this type of technology, and how long will it take for this BIM modelling to be much more used on the sort of small to medium projects?
Well, I follow right in behind what Magnus was saying. Yes, BIM is a workflow around models, from the planning to the design to the building and to the maintenance afterwards. Those are typically around large projects, large contractors, because they're tracking all of that. But for the smaller contractors, a slimmed down version is there. We all are developing these simpler systems where somebody can go off and take our tools, they can go out and they can create their own design. They can create then a model from that, and they can put it in the machine, they can actually do the work, and then they take that off and they can go validate it. They're creating a digital twin. They're documenting what they built, just like the larger contractors are, but not with all the additional resources, with all the additional costs that go into it. And so while it doesn't produce all the extra data, it produces what is key for those smaller contractors.
Yes, and I think that's crucial, isn't it? It's got to be a good bang for their buck, so to speak. It has to pay off. There's no point investing in the full-on BIM modelling if it's not suited to your project, your application. And Elwyn, how do you see this on this side of the market for the smaller projects?
I think there's a couple of interesting things at play here. First of all, I think we're seeing more BIM requirements from some of the public roads authorities, the DOTs here in the US, Highways UK, Norwegian Public Roads, some of these progressive entities that are experimenting with and driving more requirements for BIM-based workflows or BIM-based data delivery. I think interesting about that is if you think about the landscape of civil construction projects, road projects in particular, there are more road projects that are actually really small than there are big highway new builds, right? So lots of small, intersection remodels, or overpass redesigns, and so on. And so as we see these owners, these regulatory bodies requiring BIM workflows, I think that's really driving smaller contractors to experiment and to learn and to get more comfortable with this way of working. I think that's great for the industry. I think for where we are now, for many of these smaller contractors, it's change, and sometimes change can be challenging. It's new requirements and new ways of working. But what I think is fascinating is as new contractors and smaller contractors come into the industry, and frankly, new engineers and surveyors and so on, straight out of school, they come in with a BIM way of thinking, right? They come in what I call BIM native, and so they're driving us as the technology vendors to offer more solutions and to improve the usability and the workflows within our solutions, because us here on the call today, we come from a CAD base, and in many cases, I would say a PDF-based kind of background, very point-and-line oriented. And so we are having to upgrade our solutions and our capabilities to make it easier to use BIM models from start to finish in the project.